What's up? I look the way that I do because I was painting and my hair was driving me insane. So that's the reason for this. What are we doing? I'm doing this. We go in red hair mode. I got music. Listening to Billy Talent. Because I'm in a Billy Talent phase lately. Every few months, a random artist that I used to listen to in high school, I just get really into again. Also, I'm gonna trim my bangs, because they're not even bangs anymore. Also, they're driving me insane. They're perfect eye stabbing length, but they're not long enough to put behind my ears, which is what's annoying me right now, because I've been painting. I don't like how that looks. And that's what we're gonna be doing. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna section my hair. And then we'll get going. Also, my hair is kind of disgusting and greasing. What? Disgusting and greasy. But sometimes for this type of hair dye, I like to have it a little bit greebly before I do it. Because this hair dye is a little bit damaging. I don't know the science behind the difference in boxed hair dye versus like the little stuff you get in the tub, like Manic Panic, that type of dye. I know they're different. I couldn't tell you why. I know one of them's worse for your hair, and it's this one. And that's all I know. Anyways, we're gonna put that in my head. I actually wanted to film doing my bangs, even though you've seen them a billion times. I'm gonna do them again. Hello, I've decided to explain myself today. Here, I'm making a little triangle, as you do. I like to make my triangle for my bangs pretty wide and pretty thick, because I like my bangs to be wide and thick. That's how I like them. Then I brush it all forward and twist it and cut it. It's important not to scrunch your forehead when you do this. Don't scrunch your forehead. Pay attention to that. And then I cut a little flat section in the very middle, and I use it as a guide to sort of take a chunk of that, take a chunk of the hair that hasn't been cut, and just even it out, pulling to the side to sort of get a nice diagonal. Done that, I sort of just clean everything up, make sure it looks nice, and then I'll just add some texture, do some point cutting, do some slide cutting, just add some little layers in there. I like it. It makes my bangs look nice and like shaggy when they dry, and I like how that looks. And then here I'm just gonna blend my bangs into the rest of my hair, because if you don't, it can look a little funky sometimes. For sectioning, I usually split the top and the bottom into two pieces, because I feel like that's a pretty good, easy start. And I'll also do my bangs as like their own separate entity. The bottom usually ends up being like 4 sort of tall, skinny sections. And I usually leave the last one unbraided, untwisted, unclipped, just out, because that's where I'm going to start anyways, and there's no point in tying it up to just untie it again. At the very most, I'll clip it up, but I don't usually bother, because there's no point. Braided those, because I felt like if you have clips, I would recommend just using clips, because that's way easier than having to undo a braid in gloves. It's kind of miserable. There's my bangs going up, and then the top, I think I just ended up doing 2 sections, one with a clip and one with an elastic, because that's just what I had. I don't get too picky with the top until I'm like actually doing it. Also, really, when you're dyeing your hair, you should start from the top, but I don't, so. I'm about to do something incredibly intelligent. I never do it, because I'm lazy. But this stuff stains way more than the regular dye I use does, so I'm gonna put moisturizer on my hairline. Like a genius. So let's do that. together. Feels. That's also why I never do it. It makes the sides of my face just feel real tacky. Really, if I was like extra professional and extra prepared, I'd have those little ear shower caps. But I don't have those. I don't even have regular shower caps. That's how ill-prepared I am. It smells like ammonia, like this type of boxed hair dye normally does. But it smells also like they've tried to put this fruity, flowery fragrance over top of it. So you get like a whiff of fruity, flowery smell, and you go, huh? And try to sniff it more, but the second sniff, it's all ammonia. So you just end up huffing ammonia. And clown gloves. Forbidden Forbidden ketchup. I don't like it. It's so weird. Starting dyeing the hair now. I usually like to start at the bottom. I think you're supposed to start at the top. I like to start at the bottom just for convenience when I section my hair. To put the dye on, I usually paint it on with the little brush, and then I'll use my fingers to sort of smooth it through and like saturate the hair. Earlier I was talking about the difference between box dye and dyes like Manic Pan... What? Where did I go? Oh, okay. I was talking about the difference between box dye and like Manic Panic, Arctic Fox, that type of formula. I couldn't find a specific name for it when I was doing research, which was really frustrating. Basically, box dye is like the one-size-fits-all dress of hair dye. Anybody can use it, so they kind of just make the developer that's in it as strong as possible, so no matter what your hair looks like going into it, you're gonna get some color on it. So like this one, for example, has ammonia in it, which is a pretty strong developer. That's why it smells so bad and why I keep making that face, because it reeks. And then dyes like, you know, Manic Panic, Arctic Fox, that type of dye, they don't have ammonia, and their formula is basically like a conditioner, so it ends up being sort of like a hair mask when you have to leave it on your hair. The only real con to it is that basically they don't stick to your hair as well sometimes, and they fade a little bit easier. But if you prefer having hair that's less damaged, then I would say go for those. But if you want colors that are typically gonna last way longer, honestly I would say don't even go for a box dye. Go to like a beauty supply store and get like a salon quality dye, because those aren't that difficult to use, and if you do some research you should be able to figure out what level developer you can use for the specific like color level of your hair, and that'll work a lot better for you. the end here, I like to just get whatever excess I have left and just gloop it all over my hair. It's kind of just a last-ditch effort in case you miss anything, and also I hate just having a lot of hair dye left over, so I'll just kind of gloop it all over my hair. Something you're gonna want to do either during the process or right after you finish is to immediately go in. I'm using a makeup wipe. You can use just like a makeup remover or anything like that. Clean the dye off of your skin. Here I'm putting a plastic bag on my head. Basically, it helps the dye develop because it keeps the heat from your head in with the hair dye. And it also prevents you from staining everything you touch because you don't have just open dye all over the place. Normally you'd want to use a shower cap for this. I didn't have any, so I just put a plastic bag on my head. Let's wash it. This is what it's looking like as it's drying. It's so much darker than I thought it would be. Like, it even made my natural hair darker. As it's drying, it's starting to lighten up, but it looked really like black when I first washed it, and I was a little bit concerned because I was like, oh, that's not really the color that I was looking for. It kind of reminds me of what my hair used to look like when I was like 12, 13. Or no, it would have been 14. I wish I'd blended these better. This one doesn't look as bad because it's curling the way that it's supposed to. This one is curling much sharper. So it looks like it blends worse than it does. But I wish I'd left a little bit more and blended them in better, but it'll grow out. It's not the end of the world. I imagine it'll also look better when it's completely dry, because usually when it's half dry like this, it looks a little funky, you know? But yeah, that's what it's looking like so far. I think tomorrow I'll film in light so you can see what it looks like in the sun, and also it'll be completely dry by then. Yeah, I need to go to sleep because it's like very late. It's almost 4 a.m. Oh, big yawn. I'll show you tomorrow what it looks like. I'm gonna try to sleep, I think. My hair is mostly dry. Probably just hang out here with this rainbow liquor. Anyways.